Hey everyone, and welcome to this special Masterclass Explainer. You uploaded a fantastic PDF presentation on Grade 11 Science covering coordination and homeostasis, and today we are giving it the full custom voiceover treatment. We're not adding any outside presentations here, we're just diving straight into your material to give you a detailed, guided walkthrough. We're going to break down every crucial detail so you can really master how your body actually works behind the scenes. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start off with the basics of coordination, then we'll move into the fast nervous system, followed by the chemical endocrine system. After that, we'll look at maintaining internal balance, and finally wrap the whole thing up with a quick summary and conclusion. All right, let's dive right in. Today's masterclass on coordination and homeostasis comes to us proudly from the Educational Publications Department. We have a ton of fascinating biological ground to cover, so let's get right to the good stuff. Section 1. The basics of coordination, understanding responses. Okay, so the whole concept of coordination is really about understanding how your body responds to changes in the environment. Because let's face it, our environment is never just static, right? It is constantly shifting. And our bodies need this essential, continuous ability to adapt to those changes just to survive. Before we get into the heavy science, I want you to just think about this for a second. How does your body actually know it's hot outside? When you step out the front door on a blazing summer day, what is literally happening biologically to make you feel that intense heat and then react to it? Well, that brings us perfectly to the core concepts of stimulus and response. A stimulus is simply a change in your internal or external environment that can be detected by your sensory organs, or receptors. Think of things like light, sound, or, temperature changes. Then the response is your reaction to that stimulus, which is carried out by effectors, like your muscles or glands. There's also this term irritability, which is really just the inherent ability of all living things to respond to these changes. It's kind of like, the stimulus is a doorbell ringing, and the response is you using your leg muscles to walk over and open the door. Moving right along to Section 2, the fast nervous system, the body's fiber optic network. I absolutely love this part because I like to think of this network as the body's high-speed fiber optics. The human nervous system is broken down into two main parts. First, you have the central nervous system, or the CNS, which is your brain and your spinal cord. This is the primary control center. Second is the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. This one is made up of exactly 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. These are basically the cables transmitting instant messages out to the rest of your body. And the actual structural units making up these cables, those are your neurons, specifically the sensory, motor, and interneurons that handle impulse transmission. Now, looking at the absolute powerhouse of the CNS, the human brain, we see three really key structures. First up is the large cerebrum. That's the part handling your intelligence, memory, learning, and voluntary muscle activity. Next, tucked right underneath that, is the cerebellum. Its main job is maintaining your body balance and coordinating those voluntary movements so you don't just fall over. Finally, we've got the medulla oblongata down at the brainstem. This part acts quietly in the background on autopilot, controlling vital involuntary actions, like your heart rate, your respiration, and reflex actions. Speaking of reflex actions, a reflex is a sudden, involuntary response to a stimulus. Think about instantly yanking your hand back from a hot stove. These actions completely bypass conscious thought. You don't decide to do it, it just happens. They are guided by what's called the reflex arc, which is this lightning-fast circuit of sensory, inter, and motor neurons. And depending on where they get coordinated, they're categorized as either spinal reflexes or cranial reflexes. Section 3. The chemical endocrine system, the body's postal service. To really firmly grasp how the endocrine system works, we kind of need to compare it directly to the nervous system. So on one side, the nervous system relies on super fast electrical impulses for immediate short-term responses. But on the other side, the endocrine system relies on slow, chemical hormones for effects that are much longer lasting. So the endocrine system is all about chemical coordination through hormones. It really is the absolute master of chemical coordination in your body. And it does this using endocrine glands. Now, these are special ductless glands that secrete hormones directly into your bloodstream. Hormones themselves are organic compounds produced at one site that stimulate very specific target organs or cells somewhere else entirely. It really is like a neighborhood postal service delivering highly specific chemical letters right into the bloodstream, where they just travel along until they reach their exact target organs. There are several absolute power player hormones you definitely need to know here. For instance, the pituitary gland produces growth hormone, which increases protein synthesis and makes your long bones grow. Then you've got the pancreas, which produces insulin. Insulin does this incredible job of converting excess glucose into glycogen so your body can store it. We also absolutely can't ignore the adrenal gland, which releases adrenaline to prep your body for sudden fight-or-flight emergencies. And finally, you have thyroxine, which controls your metabolic rate, alongside testosterone and estrogen, handling your secondary sexual characteristics.
Section 4. Maintaining internal balance, the grand unification.
So that grand unification we just mentioned actually has a name: homeostasis. It's defined simply but powerfully as keeping the internal environment stable. Homeostasis is literally the ultimate objective of all that coordination we've been talking about today. It's all about keeping things perfectly, predictably balanced inside your body, no matter how much constant external chaos is going on around you.
This regulation of internal balance is this amazing continuous loop of checking and balancing. Let's look at a few examples. Blood glucose is regulated by insulin and glucagon, which come from the islets of Langerhans over in the pancreas. Then you have your body temperature, which is tightly maintained at approximately 37 degrees Celsius by the hypothalamus. It does this by utilizing sweating when you need to cool down, or shivering and peripheral capillary constriction to help you retain heat. Finally, your water balance is regulated by antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short, which tightly controls your overall urine volume.
And finally, Section 5, Summary and Conclusion. As we wrap up this structured walkthrough of your uploaded module, I really wanted to reflect warmly on this wonderful quote provided right in the Educational Publications Department text: "Be a light to the country as well as to the world." It's just a great, grounding reminder that the knowledge we gain about ourselves and our biology should ultimately be used to better the world around us. But before you go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. We've just seen how our biology possesses these absolutely perfect automatic systems for balance. But if that's true, how do modern external factors, things like chronic stress, lack of sleep, or highly artificial diets, disrupt this incredible internal harmony over time? It's something deeply worth thinking about when it comes to your own day-to-day biology. Thank you so much for joining me for this Explainer Masterclass. Stay curious, stay focused, and keep learning.